Hey guys, it's Shelby from Big Cat Creative, and today's video is all about Etsy versus Squarespace e-commerce. As we all know, online businesses are more valuable now than ever. People are only continuing to gravitate towards shopping online because it's quick, convenient, and accessible to anyone, no matter where you are. Because of this, it is really important that if you have products to sell, you get them available for online purchase ASAP. And what's the best way to do this? Well, Squarespace and Etsy are two of the most well-known e-commerce platforms out there. However, they are both quite different. So in this video, we're going to break down the pros and cons of each so that you can decide exactly what's going to be best for your business. Let's start with Etsy. If you're not already familiar with it, Etsy is a marketplace and e-commerce platform mostly for smaller shops and handmade goods. You can technically sell anything with Etsy, but they've become most well known for vintage items, handmade products, digital products, craft supplies, things like that. It's a really straightforward and simple option for small businesses and individuals that want to get their products seen by a large audience really quickly. And this is mostly thanks to the existing Etsy marketplace. So think of Etsy like a mall. While you're not getting your own website, you are setting up a shop page. And when you set up a shop page, it becomes similar to a store within the mall. So right away, you get access to all of the people who are already there in the mall shopping and looking for something to buy. These people are Etsy's pre-established audience, which as of December 2024 is approximately 95 million active buyers. That's a really big mall with a lot of people actively shopping. So while you don't get your own website with Etsy, you do get pretty immediate access to a bunch of potential customers the moment you sign up. You're also going to avoid some of the potential challenges that come hand in hand with starting a shop from scratch. Since Etsy is specifically made for creators who want to just hop on and get a store up and running. It is also worth noting that Etsy does provide an upgrade solution called Pattern, which enables you to build a store with your own domain, and you can sell whatever you'd like while still using the Etsy engine. I'm not going to go super in-depth in this video because it's not the quote-unquote traditional Etsy that we're all familiar with, but it is still good to have all of the information, and this is available to you if you want to take advantage of it. Okay, now all of that being said, let's dive into some more specifics when it comes to Etsy. When it comes to shop design, as you can probably guess due to the simplicity of the platform, design flexibility is not one of Etsy's strong suits. Most Etsy stores are going to look very similar, if not exactly the same, and this is because there just are limited options when it comes to customization. This is a very standard example of what an Etsy store might look like, and you can see that you can customize the banner up here at the top, your shop name, and your shop profile picture, and then it's just all of your listed items. If you like this shop design, then that's great, but if not, you're really only going to be able to make those few customizations. You can change your photos and then also make some small changes to things like colors, fonts, and photo styles. If you do have their Etsy Plus premium plan, you can access some additional features such as different layout options for featuring your listings or highlighting specific sections or products. But even still, those are pretty limited and they're mostly functional versus visual. So from a design standpoint, it's still going to look pretty standard. So if you're a super design focused person and you want a lot of options, Etsy is going to be pretty limited. However, if you don't want a lot of options and you don't want to feel overwhelmed when it comes to design, Etsy might be great. Now let's talk about ease of use. Etsy is extremely easy to use, which is one of our favorite things about it. And this, again, is mostly because there just aren't any complex features to begin with. The customization options are limited, and you don't even really have the choice to make things complicated if you wanted to. You can super easily and quickly sign up and register your own shop and get your products listed and ready to sell. You could probably have a shop up and running and out there for the marketplace to view within an hour. This means that Etsy is perfect for people who have little to no web development or online selling experience. As far as support goes, although it's unlikely you'll run into any major issues, if you did ever need help with your store, Etsy has great support. They have a really comprehensive help center with super useful articles and training materials that should cover everything you would ever need. They also have an easily accessible support team that you can email with. And another really great feature of theirs is that they have a community forum where you can connect with other sellers and seek advice, which is super nice with the marketplace platform. And finally, let's talk about value for your money. At first glance, Etsy is going to look like the most cost-effective e-commerce platform on the market. It's free to set up a store, and even their premium option only costs $10 a month. However, what you do need to take into consideration is that Etsy charges a lot of extra fees. These might vary and be a little bit different depending on the kind of seller you are and how many products you'll be selling. So it's always worth taking a look at all the information to educate yourself on the possibilities. But some of the main fees that Etsy charges are a potential setup fee. So even though it's usually free to set up a shop, it's up to Etsy's sole discretion whether or not they want to charge a setup fee. This is usually dependent upon what kind of promotions they're currently running, and they do tend to offer promotions quite often. But you should definitely keep in mind that you may potentially get charged a setup fee. They also charge a listing fee of 20 cents per item that you list for sale. And then when you make a sale, you're going to be charged a transaction fee, which is 6.5% of the price that you display for that listing that's sold. And then on top of that transaction fee, they also charge a payment processing fee, which is going to vary depending on the location of your bank account. But by the time you've made a sale, you've got a lot of fees that have racked up. So at the end of the day, it is most definitely not free to have your shop on Etsy, despite what it might look like from the very beginning. And because you're paying sales fees, it's going to start to cost more as you sell more. So this just means that it's going to be really important to keep a close eye on your sales in order to know just how much you'll be paying any given month. And again, you should definitely locate Etsy's fees and payment policies before deciding to set up your shop, just so that you know all of the potential fees that you might be charged and are ready no matter the outcome. So, as a little recap, Etsy is amazing for large exposure to a pre-existing marketplace audience. It's really easy to get started and to use, which makes it great for newcomers and beginners. And it is inexpensive if you're just starting out and not yet making a ton of sales, so you don't have to worry about all of those sales fees in the very beginning. However, they are limited on design customization options. They have limited sales features. They do have those fees in the end. And you don't have control over your entire shop because it's not your own website that you host. Now let's go ahead and jump into Squarespace e-commerce. And here at Big Cat Creative, we are all about Squarespace. You've definitely heard us go on about it a ton if you are familiar with our YouTube videos. And that is because we think it's the best overall platform to build your entire website on, honestly, for almost any business type. And one of their amazing features is e-commerce. And Squarespace e-commerce is an online store experience that you can build and manage directly within your existing site. Now, the biggest difference between Squarespace and Etsy is that Squarespace is an entire website building platform, not a marketplace. And because of this, when you build a shop in Squarespace, you gain a lot more control and creative freedom. On the other hand, it also means that things can get a bit more complicated since you have access to a ton of extra features, both design-wise and functionally when it comes to e-commerce. This also means that if you use Squarespace, you're going to lose access to the built-in audience that comes with Etsy. So you're just going to have to work a little bit harder to drive traffic to your shop using various marketing strategies like SEO, advertising, and social media. But with all that said, let's just go ahead and dive straight in with some of Squarespace's e-commerce specifics. Starting with design. So in our opinion, one of the best things about Squarespace is their design flexibility and their library of templates. They have a massive library of templates that you can go ahead and get started with. When you're ready to get started, you can browse their general library of templates, or you can filter over here on the left-hand side to view some that are a little bit more specifically built for online stores, even though you can add an online store to any Squarespace template. You can then customize the template to look however you want. And when it's time to add your shop, it's going to automatically take on all of the same design settings and can even be customized a little bit further depending on your needs. So you have full control over the design, and it's going to look really special and custom as opposed to Etsy's very basic and straightforward shop layout. And if you're worried about having too much design freedom with Squarespace, you can always choose to purchase one of our premium Squarespace templates for a gorgeous and fully functional Squarespace website. We also offer expertly designed shop page add-ons so that you can have a show-stopping storefront up and running quickly. Our shop pages are designed to match each one of our premium templates, but they can also be purchased a la carte and added to any Squarespace 7.1 website. Here you can see our Unearthed template shop page, which comes with multiple sections of beautiful content, different areas to display your items in your shop. And then the template also does come with some example pages for each item so that when it's time for you to add your own items, you can just go ahead and duplicate those and input your own content. Next, let's go ahead and talk about ease of use. So with Squarespace, the main thing that you're going to have to learn how to use is the Fluid Engine Editor. And if you've never used it before, there can be a bit of a learning curve, but ultimately Squarespace was created to be accessible to DIY website designers, so all of their features are very intuitive and can be easily learned no matter how much web experience you have. And when it comes to actually working with the e-commerce settings in Squarespace, as long as you aren't trying to do any crazy advanced customizations, building a shop through Squarespace e-commerce is very straightforward. And they also provide a ton of guidelines and tutorials that will help you manage the dashboard super easily so that you can feel like a pro seller fast. You can add physical products by simply clicking Add Product. You can add services. You can add gift cards, downloads. You can sell all different kinds of things through Squarespace e-commerce. You can keep track of your orders really easily, offer discounts, and Squarespace, again, offers a ton of various selling tools to help you out along the way. As far as support goes, we feel that Squarespace's support is top-notch. You can get in touch with a team member via live chat or email whenever you need, and they also do have a community forum and free webinars for extended support. But the best part about Squarespace support is their incredible comprehensive help center. You can search any topic that you need and find guides, step-by-step tutorials, and videos right at your fingertips. You name it, Squarespace Help Center will be able to help you work through it. And last but definitely not least, let's talk about value for money. All in all, Squarespace offers great value for your money. Their Plus and Advanced plans, which used to be considered their quote-unquote commerce plans, include unlimited products, professional shipping, tax services, sales funnel analytics, abandoned cart recovery, and so many other really incredible e-commerce features. Squarespace also has Etsy B with their exponentially lower payment processing fees. You can see here that they have a payment processing fee of either 2.7 or 2.5, depending on the plan that you're on, plus 30 cents. And their more advanced commerce forward plans have a 0% transaction fee. So even though you are going to be spending a little bit more monthly or annually for the actual Squarespace subscription, you are going to be saving all of that extra fee money and you won't need to worry about any other added expenses. So even though Squarespace doesn't give you that built-in marketplace or audience, and it requires a little bit more effort to get started with e-commerce, it makes up for all of that with the stylish templates that you can use, the easy-to-use DIY site builder platform, the unlimited product listings, and so much more control that you get over your shop. At the end of the day, both Squarespace and Etsy are wonderful platforms with features that are going to allow you to be successful if you put in the work. But deciding which one is going to be best for you is honestly going to come down to your personal business needs and what you're willing and able to accommodate. If you're not totally sure which one to use, we recommend going ahead and trying out both of them. Having your products on both Etsy and Squarespace at the same time is only going to help your sales. So if you're not sure where to start, or if you feel like you could use the initial help of Etsy's built-in marketplace system, just go ahead and get set up on both platforms and then go from there. I hope this comparison guide was helpful for you. If you enjoyed it and want to see more content like it, be sure to follow along and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next video.